The story comes to us from abc11.com. So this story is out of Fayetteville, North Kakalaki, which I was there. Well, I was at Fort Bragg. I was at Fort Bragg, North Carolina from 1988 to 89. Yeah, it was interesting. I was only there for 19 months. I had come from Germany after a 3-year tour, Frankfurt, Höchst, Germany. Went to Fort Bragg from 88 to 89, 19 months. And then they said, oh, we're sending you back to Germany. And I went back to Darmstadt, Germany. And right shortly after that is when Operation Desert Shield broke out. And then it became Operation Desert Storm. Of course, I served in that because I was in the 32nd ADCOM, which is the 32nd Army Air Defense Command. Right? I think I got that right. It's been a while. I digress. Going back, though, to Fort Bragg in Fayetteville, downtown, Fayetteville Police Chief Kimberly Braden said Tuesday that an anonymous tip has led to the criminal investigation and arrest of one of their department's own. Braden held a news conference in the lobby of police headquarters on Hay Street to make the announcement about an officer who violated his oath of office. I remember Hay Street. Braden said the department received a Crime Stoppers tip on October 6th of this year, identifying a police officer as being involved in an illegal narcotic activity. The chief said the officer, who identified as Israel Gear Johnson, only 23, was subsequently charged with 2 counts of willfully failing to discharge his duties, 1 count of common law obstruction of justice, a charge of conspiracy, and a charge of maintaining a dwelling for keeping controlled substances. You know what? Getting those favors. Gear Johnson is on administrative leave with pay. He's on paid vacation, pending the outcome of the internal investigation. We investigate our own as standard procedure. He was booked and received a $100,000 bond. Now, Chief Braden said in a statement, it is important that the Fayetteville Police Department maintains the highest of standards for our residents. And this arrest is an example of how we continue to maintain that promise to them. One of my goals as police chief is to release all the information I have available to the public without hindering an investigation. Yeah, highest standards. I don't know. I haven't had that many stories about Fayetteville PD, though, so I don't know. Maybe they do kind of good. Now, the internal investigation is separate from the criminal investigation. It's unclear at this time whether Gear Johnson was selling drugs himself as part of this conspiracy, but Braden said he has tapped the FBI to also investigate whether federal charges are warranted. Gear Johnson was hired by the Fayetteville Police Department in June of 2021 and was sworn in as a patrol officer in June of 2022. But they're looking at federal charges, maybe because also he's a cop. So now you're looking at, official misconduct and so forth. In the wake of the developments within this department, Braden sent a letter to all Fayetteville police officers reinforcing the need to be accountable and strive to keep our lives unsullied, both internally and externally. And there's a link here you can click and you can read that full letter that he sent out. Braden said enough can't be said about the Crime Stoppers and what it did for us in this investigation. So Crime Stoppers is one of those things. We have Crime Stoppers here in our county as well, where you can call or you can submit online a complaint and say, hey, I saw this cop, or a criminal complaint. You can say, how does this guy over here across the street, he's, It's Crime Stoppers. It could also be called the Karen line. I just made that up. But no, I have Crime Stoppers here as well. It's one of those see something, say something things. But here, this cop